The thickness of 1 millimeter is the limit for bamboo strips, but not for the elder. With the help of a 9-pronged rake, he can split the bamboo finer than a strand of hair, turning them into delicate threads of bamboo. But not just any bamboo will do. Only the 1-year-old female bamboo, growing on the shaded hills of Dashixiang, is suitable, low in moisture, with long, even joints, able to endure his demanding process. To split the strips this fine, traditional methods alone aren't enough. The elder uses a special hand-tearing technique, repeatedly thinning the bamboo until it becomes a translucent sheet, before weaving begins. A base sketch must be drawn on paper. Only then can the work unfold smoothly. The weaving itself allows no shortcuts. One completed piece can take the elder 2 weeks to finish. It's a task impossible for those with poor eyesight. A man tries to charm a young boy with graceful dance moves, hoping to take him as a student. To him, a man of Korean heritage, who doesn't dance the sangmo, is incomplete. During festivals, the sangmo dance is essential. Dancers show off dazzling techniques. Even spinning 2 to 3 meter long streamers seems modest compared to those who swing 20-meter ribbons with ease. Some say just watching it relieved their neck pain of 20 years. Do you realize how difficult it is? At the heart of it all lies the sangmo hat, made by carving open a wooden gourd. The hat is decorated with colorful beads, strung together with wire, and firmly fixed at the top. After tuning the flexibility of the wire, the sangmo is complete. A slight misstep can cause injury. Spinning the hat alone is manageable, but combining it with complex dance moves takes years of dedicated practice. As the ribbon grows longer, so does the challenge. Only those who can master the 20-meter sangmo are considered the stars of any festival, true masters of the art. In a room heated to 50 degrees Celsius, an elder works without pause. This traditional snack sells for just 2 yuan in the village, but the effort behind it is so intense it nearly faded into history. First, soaked glutinous rice is crushed by hand into a fine powder. Hot water is added and stirred to form a smooth dough. Then it's spread onto a steaming tray. After steaming, the rice paste turns dark. These sheets are laid out on a warm Kong bed to dry at a steady 50 degrees Celsius. Even the slightest breeze can cause them to crack. In this space, the artisan must labor for 12 hours straight. Frying them in hot oil brings out their full flavor, but to truly transform them, they are coated in slow-cooked malt syrup. The sticky sweetness not only adds taste, but acts as a glue for toppings like perilla seeds and puffed rice. Only then is the guajuli snack complete, crispy, aromatic, and full of tradition. Though it sells for just 2 yuan, this skill feeds an entire family. Would you like to try one? With just a gentle push, a puppet's face changes expression, and that's just one of the many hidden mechanisms inside a Zhengzhou wooden puppet. Few would guess that within this tiny figure resides two national-level cultural heritages: puppet carving and puppet theater. The raw material used is camphor wood, known for its fragrant scent and ideal texture. Easy to carve and naturally insect-resistant. After air drying for 3 years, the wood is chopped and shaped. Initial cuts define the puppet's face, but to house all the inner mechanics, the core is carefully hollowed out, allowing each moving part to function smoothly. A special yellow clay unique to southern Fujian is mixed with animal glue and applied to the surface. The index finger controls the puppet's head. The thumb and other fingers guide the arms, enabling lifelike, high-level movements. Top performers can even do dual action. The praying mantis never knew that a single hunt would make it the ancestor of a martial arts legacy. Not only can it challenge tiger and crane styles, but it has also inspired countless followers overseas. This all began hundreds of years ago with a martial artist named Wang Lang, living in the mountains of Laoshan. He trained with a dream to become invincible. One day, while practicing, a chirping cicada distracted him. Just as he was about to swat it away, a mantis crept up. Its strike was swift, powerful, and graceful, a perfect balance of movement and energy. Much of Chinese martial arts is rooted in observing animals, while tiger styles are bold and forceful. This was Wang Lang's first time witnessing such delicate precision. Day after day, he studied the mantis movements, translating them into martial forms. And so, the legendary mantis fist was born. He used it to defeat many rivals, eventually becoming a martial arts master. The original mantis was honored as the sect's founder. Centuries have passed, but mantis fist remains strong, evolving into various schools, drawing international interest. If done right, it's a remedy. If done wrong, it becomes a curse. That's why I fear the consequences. For over 1300 years, this ancient process has only been passed down orally, with no complete documentation. This secrecy has brought the art to the brink of extinction. The clay used comes from Tibetan plateaus, at elevations above 4,600 meters. Before digging, a solemn ritual is held to honor the mountain spirits. The clay is categorized by gender. The white, loose clay is considered male, while the sticky red clay is female. The success of the sacred clay hinges on the medicinal herbs added to the mix. When the ratio is right, its scent can carry across valleys. But if it fails, it gives off a pungent stench, so strong and toxic, it causes uncontrollable tears, nausea, and dizziness. Opening the fermentation pit is an act of courage on its own. Only after successful fermentation can mask making begin. The clay is pressed into molds to shape a rough outline of the mask, refining the facial details. Regardless of the design, each mask exudes a rich, distinct fragrance that repels insects, cleanses the air, and contributes to Tibetan longevity. Through the centuries of sacred mask making, What's been preserved isn't just craftsmanship, but the warmth and wisdom of human tradition. It turns out, it was a missing piece of iron that gave Genghis Khan the upper hand and allowed him to sweep across Eurasia. If you ever travel back in time, present this tiny object to Emperor Taizong, and you might just become the grand protector of the western regions. That small piece of iron was the horseshoe in the age of cold weapons. An elite cavalry was the ultimate force, fast, fierce, and decisive in battle. Though a warhorse could live over 2 decades, its service life often ended in just 4 to 5 years. Not simply due to harsh combat, but because of worn-down hooves. A horse's hoof is like a fingernail, with a hard outer layer that protects it, allowing the horse to move freely across rough terrain. But, like nails, it wears down. Once worn through, the soft tissue hits the ground, and the horse can barely move. Carrying a heavily armed rider only speeds up the wear. The process of making horseshoes is simple. First, trim the excess hoof with a scraper to reveal a clean, smooth surface. Oddly satisfying to watch, even relaxing after combat drills. Then, heat the iron until it glows red. Press it to the hoof to test the fit, and hammer it into the perfect shape. Once cooled, it's secured with long nails, carefully avoiding old nail holes. Because the hoof is angled, the nails are bent after exiting to lock the shoe firmly in place. With regular trimming and horseshoe replacement, a warhorse's service life could double. These tiny crabs are barely thicker than a thumb. They don't offer much meat, but they're more addictive than crawfish. In the mountains of Yunnan, people don't just forage for mushrooms. They hunt for wild crabs. For this father and daughter, it's a joyful forest tradition. The father lifts stones, while the daughter chases crabs, giggling. The mountain crabs are small. Their colors blend with rocks and soil, making them hard to spot when still. Thankfully, they breed rapidly. Turn any rock, and you're likely to find 3 or more. They require pristine water to survive, which gives them a unique sweetness. Soon, their bamboo tube is brimming with crabs. In Wa homes, the fire pit never goes out. Life revolves around its warmth. They roast the crabs in hot ash, letting the heat cook them slowly, a common local method. The crabs come out with crispy shells and a rich, roasted aroma, but to really bring out the flavor, nothing beats deep frying. As the oil heats, tossing the crabs. The high temperature unlocks their hidden sweetness. Once fried to a golden red hue, they become irresistible snacks for kids and special treats for honored guests. When it comes to topping rice, it's not always soy sauce. Sometimes, it's oyster sauce. A little goes a long way, transforming simple meals into culinary wonders. Most households might not even have real oysters in their oyster sauce, but in Guangdong, it's made from thousands of oysters. Rich, pure, and full of depth. Shucking oysters is an art to preserve freshness. A whole line of workers opens them non-stop. The oyster meat is washed thoroughly until it's pristine. The plumpest oysters are selected to make oyster broth. One pot boils over 100 kilos of oysters. After 30 minutes, the meat is removed, and the filtered broth is set aside. Workers spend 2 days boiling more than 2,000 kilos of oysters, just to gather enough for one batch. The broth is simmered slowly. Its moisture evaporates until it darkens into fragrant oyster essence. All the separately cooked batches are then combined into one pot. The rich aroma fills the air. Only a seasoned craftsman can determine the exact moment the oyster sauce is ready.